right. If you are new to this channel, my name is Julie, and as you can see from the videos I have posted, I am on a health journey for a variety of reasons, but my ultimate desire is to be healthier, to lose excess weight, and to manage my autoimmune thyroid disorder called Hashimoto's, and to balance my hormones after having 3 kids so that I can keep up with my kids and my family, to be around for a long time, Lord willing, and to feel better, to just live better quality of life, and Lord willing, later on this year, be able to try for another baby. So that's the gist. I am currently in another phase of my health journey. You're welcome to look back on my past videos, but I am going to warn you that they are raw and real and sometimes hard to swallow, because it's just the true process of trying to be healthier, trying to lose weight, trying to go through the mental, emotional, spiritual, physical struggle that it is of managing health and just living life, being busy. I am a mom with 3 kids. I have an amazing husband who works very hard. He owns his own construction company, so I also do his administrative work. I homeschool my children. I'm part of a co-op. We are very active and we do a lot. So that being said, the current phase that I am in is juicing. And I want to give a little bit of a disclaimer to this, that I don't recommend what I'm doing to everyone. That is because I have very specific reasons why I have chosen to do a juice fast. It is not first and foremost to lose weight. I know that that will be part of it, but I want to lose weight for the long term and not just, to be done with it and move on like I have so many times in the past tried to do. I got into this year, it's already the end of February, and I realized that it takes a lot more mental battle than physical battle to lose weight and to change the habits that have got me to where I'm at physically. There's a lot of emotional baggage tied into it, which you could see from my prior videos. It's not pretty, but it's real. And it's a hard process. So that being said, coming into this year, like most people, I was up on the hype of, oh, it's a new year, let's do all the things, let's, cut the calories, let's work out 6 times a week, let's do all the things. Not that that's bad, but I became obsessive with it and overwhelmed with feeling like I had to have it all figured out. So I was in this stage all of January feeling like I couldn't figure out the perfect plan. I was tossing and turning over it and frustrated. And so when I'm frustrated and stressed, I turn to food. And so instead of losing weight, I was overwhelmed with trying to find the perfect plan so I could start it. But until I started it, I was managing my stress with food. And so I was gaining weight. So needless to say, it was not a healthy cycle. And I've been in that cycle many times before. And by God's grace, I stopped. And through a few weeks of praying and processing, I realized that I needed to kind of wipe the slate clean, so to speak. I needed to come back to ground zero of what's the real purpose behind doing this. And I needed to kind of rebuild myself, so to speak. Because I had so much influence and so much failure and trial and error, years of it backed up and trying to influence me. And the more I studied and researched, the more I felt overwhelmed and because I was just trying to do it all perfect, and I wanted to maximize my time and get it all done and just have it be out of the way. I wanted to like be done with being a fat girl. I wanted to be done with having to worry about food and my health journey. I just wanted to be thin and feel good and feel pretty and have great energy and not have to, deal with any health issues and just live my life from there on out. Like that would be the start of my great life. That's not how it works. I'm sorry to say. If you don't know that yet, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. Take it to the Lord. It's something I realized. And that being said, it was humbling. And that's where I knew that I needed to go back. I needed to go back to God, that he created me. He created food, which is good, but I have abused it for many years. And I learned some of that behavior, and some of it I just took on myself due to sin and just selfishness and choosing to process my emotions and life by not processing, instead by eating. And it's gotten me to where I'm at. So owning up to that, and in a sense, choosing to step into a season of fasting so that, one, I could refocus on the Lord. I could literally deny my flesh. And every time I felt hungry, every time I felt tempted, it would just be a prompt to pray and to give it back to the Lord. So a cleansing, so to speak, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of the things. Number two, the prayer and research that I put into juice fasting showed to be that it could be a really good step for me in my health journey, because I have an autoimmune disorder and because my hormones are still kind of out of balance, because I deal with a lot of allergies and inflammation in my body, just physically health-wise. I came across a lot of testimonials in my research and found that a lot of people found really great success doing an extended fast because it allowed their body time to self-heal. When your body is not spent having to digest food and process food so much, initially it goes into a state of, we need to send these hunger signals, like you're not feeding us. But after that dies down, it goes, okay, well, you're not feeding us like we expect. So then we're going to switch gears and we're going to use what you're giving us, which is the juice, and we're going to house clean. We're going to start cleaning house. And that's what your body starts to do. It starts to purge and get rid of stuff. Now, that being said, I'm not on board with, the fads of like, oh, you have to do a colon cleanse or you have to do a this and that cleanse. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. So do your own research in that area. I'm not doing it because I feel like I have to do this. I'm doing it because I can, and that I think that it would be very beneficial for me personally in my physical health, but especially in my spiritual and emotional health, to deny myself daily, several times a day, when food has become such an idol for me. It's been good. It's been really hard, but it's been good. I am on day 4 of my juice cleanse. I am on day 15 of my overall cleanse so far. I did several days prior to juicing, having just smoothies and soup to help prepare my body and my digestive system so that, I kind of eased myself into it. And that also helped me have those, almost 2 weeks full of, getting out the tantrums that my inner self kept throwing. So that's been really helpful, that it was like gaming up for the big game, for the ultimate, which is the juicing, because it's a lot easier to throw a smoothie together or to reheat some soup than to have to juice, every 3 days. Now, in those in between days, it's really nice because your food is already made and it's good to go. So I really love that, to be honest, because meal prepping was another area that I really struggled with in trying to get my health in order. It just felt like it was a lot of work and a lot of thinking, and this takes the guessing game out of it. I'm juicing healthy whole fruits and vegetables, and I'm incorporating some pea protein powder and some collagen once a day. I might up that depending on how I feel, but I have to make sure I maintain some level of protein because I'm doing this for extended period. So again, do your research, but all that being said, it's going well. It has definitely been hard. Now, the reason I would not necessarily recommend this to any and everyone, because one, it's difficult. It really is. It's something that it takes preparation. And if you were to do it, I would highly, highly recommend you go into a pre-fast phase first, as well as set yourself a timeline for the juice fast. Evaluate once you get to the end of it, because you may need to go longer. And you also may not be able to go the full length. If your health really starts to decline, know the signs of your body. Make sure that you take care of yourself. This is not a time of starvation. I heard a quote just the other day that said that fasting without prayer is just starving yourself, which is very true. It's not about starving yourself. It's about denying your flesh so that we can seek the Lord. And so that in of itself, if you're not seeking the Lord in this, if this is just like, oh, I just want to cleanse my body and I just want to lose weight, this is not what you should be doing. So just a disclaimer to that. But yeah, it has definitely been a process. And if it is something that anyone would like to pursue, I'd be happy to just share my experiences. That's why I'm making this video right now. And it's also for me to be able to look back and see my own processing. But I will also give warning that if you are someone like me who has let food become a major idol in your life, I grew up in a family that food was love, food was celebration, food was comfort, all the things, like a lot of American families, right? Especially those that have migrated from Europe, that are very good cooks, like my family. That's how I grew up, that food was central around everything. Even in Christian, or Christian faith-based families, we center things around food, around potlucks. And that's not a bad thing, but when food is the center of always us getting together, or always us celebrating, or, whatever it is that food has to be involved, that can very much be an issue. And I knew that food was a problem for me, but I had no idea it was such an idol in my life, to where I spend so much time thinking about it. And I have to a degree, because I'm a mom. I've got to feed my children. I'm a wife. I have to feed my husband. I have to grocery shop. I have to meal plan. I have to meal prep. They don't stop eating just because I'm juicing. So I still have to keep that roll going. And that's hard in of itself, but it has gotten easier. So we have to take things where they're at. We have to know what is required of us and how to step into something like this appropriately and be realistic. I would definitely encourage you in that. But all that being said, things to consider if you're looking into juice fasting. Again, pre-fasting, knowing your timeline for the fast itself, but also preparing yourself for the post-fast stage. And that's something that I'm still praying about and processing of how to exactly do that. But that means that you're like weaning yourself back into regular food. Now, I want to make this clear that this is crucial. With the research I've done, and I just know myself personally, that this may be a great season, but if I wean myself back into exactly what I was doing before, what was the point of me doing the fast? Let's be real. That's stupid. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is the literal definition of insanity. I don't want to be insane anymore. So I am choosing to let this bring me to ground zero and wean myself off so that I'm at a healthier place. I very much intend to basically relearn how to feed my body, how to give myself the proper nutrition. And I'm not talking about become like overeducated or nutritionist or anything. No one has to have that, but we do live in a day and age where we are blessed with technology. We are blessed with the ability to find recipes, to find great groups to connect with. And I want to learn how to better take care of myself when it comes to food, to make healthier choices, and to not obsess over the calories, over the fats, over the macros and the micros and the sugars and all the things. It's going back to the basics. Right now, I would love a big bowl of sauteed mushrooms or a yummy warm soup or something like that. I crave that more than I would like a big greasy burger or a pizza, which says a lot because let's be real, like who would honestly choose vegetables over pizza or some soup over a burger? Normal people don't, but I've realized that I feel so much better eating these things than those things. And so those are the exception to the rule. But the healthy food is the rule. And that's what's going to make me feel better. That's what's going to let my body, Lord willing, heal itself and be able to be around a lot longer than if I just kept abusing it and abusing the food that God has given us. So, all that being said, other things to keep in mind are that you've got to drink a ton of water if you're going to be juice fasting, like as much as you can. In between juicing, drink lots of water. You've got to stay hydrated. It's something that I'm still kind of learning. I know it's cold out this time of year, but I very much have been experiencing like chapped lips. Like my body is just like, give me more hydration. That also helps with flushing things out too. So make sure you're prepared to drink water. And if you're not someone that drinks a lot of water, make that part of your pre-fasting. You may want to go, 2 or 3 weeks on a pre-fast before you jump into a juice fast, or start with just a small juice fast to begin with. A lot of people recommended that you start with like 3 days or 5 days. Now I am going for 45 days in total, which again, I have the specific reasons of wanting to really start the ground zero, break these bad habits that I have. I'm doing it to refocus on the Lord. So I wanted a minimum of 40 days and I wanted to do an extended fast so that my body would have time to, Lord willing, self-heal. So I will evaluate once I hit 45 days, but to see if I need to go any longer. But I took labs. I went and saw the doctor beforehand and everything checked out well, which is actually really great considering, except for vitamin D. So I'm still low on vitamin D, but my testosterone has gone up, praise God. And my thyroid is looking good, even though I've been weaning myself off of my thyroid medication. So that's really exciting. And I've currently been without anything except vitamin D, for several days now. So I want to be able to see how my body processes without, even just, those vitamins. Not that those are bad things. It's just, I want to be able to see what this is going to do to my body without the addition of those, supplements. So, yes, drink lots of water. Back to some quick tips. Know that you're going to feel pretty crappy. It's mostly going to be a mental thing, but be prepared for mental, physical, and emotional just struggling. You are going to have inner child tantrums. You are going to have to really work on reining in your reactions. My poor husband and children can attest to this. I've been a lot more on edge. I took away basically my addiction, food, and my stress reliever, food. And so not having that means that I have to sit with my raw emotions and I have to pray through them and work through them in the midst of screaming children and cooking a dinner I'm not going to be able to eat and all the smells and all the things and, just being present and accepting that this is hard right now, but this hard is going to make my future so much better. I'm just reminding myself of that. And there are times where I also just tell myself I need to suck it up because, in kind of a sad way, I did the time. I spent years abusing myself, with food and not learning how to manage my emotions. Now I need to do, I did the crime. That was the crime. And now I have to do the time. I need to put in the time of denying myself, denying my flesh so that I can relearn how to properly care for myself and to ultimately just bring it back to the Lord in prayer. It's very, very good. Just those hunger prompts of seeking the Lord for help when I need it, like every minute of every day. I am lightheaded a lot. I deal with kind of lightheaded headaches. But I'm still trying to gain more and more water, and I know that those will get better as I get farther along in this juice fast. I've read that by the second week, people tend to have a lot more energy and a lot more clarity, so I'm looking forward to that. I have been sleeping pretty good, though, especially when oftentimes my allergies keep me awake. I've been sleeping better. I have not been able to exercise like I used to because obviously I'm not taking in as many calories. So to avoid me passing out on a treadmill, which is not smart at all, I am focusing on walking, focusing on stretching. And as I continue to get better energy wise in this fasting phase, I will incorporate more lighter strength training, just to help kind of keep my muscles going, because that is an unfortunate side effect with potentially fasting, is that your body it's not just sitting here drinking this and losing fat. You're going to be losing muscle mass as well. And so be prepared for that this is not just a quick fix. Oh, I'm just going to starve myself for 40 days and I'll lose fat. No, you lose muscle mass and fat. And so when you're coming out of this, you also have to be considerate of how you're going to physically get back into exercise, if that is something. I mean, I highly encourage it for everybody. We all need exercise. But depending on the type of exercise you have, if you're a marathon runner or you want to become one or you like to strength train, you have to prepare yourself for that it's going to take some time to build up your muscle. So again, that's another thing that I don't think this is for everybody, because not everybody should be doing something this extreme. Not everyone needs it, but I do, because again, I've made this an idol in my life. So, I think that's about everything. So that's where I'm currently at. On day 5, I'm going to 45 days, and then I will either continue, depending on how I'm feeling, or I will step into my post-fast phase. And from there, I will be looking into more of a whole foods, heavily plant-based diet with protein, but I would like to go gluten and dairy free, at least for a good while. And that's just for me personally. For my autoimmune disorder, it's helpful to be gluten and dairy free. And also for my eczema, that's another thing I forgot to mention, that I'm hoping that my eczema will help clear up, because that's something that other people have mentioned has helped during this time to reduce the inflammation in your body, that skin issues can be gone. So that will help in the post fasting phase. But all that being said, it's quite the process. I do not regret it getting into it at all. I mean, even now I feel like I just wish I had done it sooner, because I know that it is going to be so worth it in the end. And I'm not at the point where I'm like, oh, I just can't wait for these 45 days to be over. I'm at the point where I'm praying it really does help my health. I would love for my thyroid to be better, to be working the way it should be. I would love to have clear skin. I would love to have lost some stubborn fat on my body. But most importantly, I want like a fresh start. That's really what I'm looking for, and just seeking the Lord for wisdom in that. And so that's where I'm at. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. I am an everyday mom. I am 32 years old, and I have struggled with food my whole life. I love to cook. I love to make food. I love to experiment with things, and I still do. Even while on this, I'm still making food. I made a bunch of little pizzas for our co-op this morning because we had a Valentine party, but but I didn't eat any, and I don't have to eat any. And to be honest, when I smell it, there's a small flicker that is still like, ooh, I'd love a bite. But then I come out of that and I say, actually, I wouldn't, because it's so not worth it. And that's not to say that pizza is never worth it. It's that it's not worth it right now. And there's a time and a place for enjoying food, but I have gone so far into idolizing food that to give in to any desire right now would just be counterproductive. So I'm choosing to deny myself and to submit to the Lord and drink my delicious nutrition. So anyway, have a great day. I will post more updates as they come, but for the time being, I'm going to keep slurping these down and praying through my emotions and thanking the Lord that I have a supportive family that loves me despite all of this ugliness coming to the surface. Super thankful for the Lord that he can burn it off and refine me, and that I, Lord willing, will come out of this a better human being, a more patient mom, a more loving wife and mom, just a healthier person. And it's not going to happen in 45 days, but it's a start. And that's the whole point, is that this is the start of the next phase of my life. And it's going to be a better phase because I'm choosing to put the Lord first. So, talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.